All right, Shalom. Let me get straight into this lesson. But I was watching this beloved brother from Vegas. The brother's channel is called Vegas Sit Downs, GMS. So this is whole Ordo out of KO. What does that mean? Order out of chaos. That's how the elites, the J people, and the other ruling class Edomites, this is how they keep their power structure firm. What they'll do is create issues that don't really exist. They'll actually create social movements. So they'll manufacture social movements like in the 60s, right? All that was pretty much manufactured through the elites. So they can keep the people distracted into division so they can continue to rule over the people. So I'm gonna get into this small little clip right here, but this is how the elites rule. Actually they actually set up these so-called politicians, and that's who people think that's really controlling things, but they don't understand that it's a hidden hand that's controlling them, right? So the whoever controls the money controls the world, and that was a quote um, by Jacob Rothschild. It says, "Give me control of a nation's money. I care not who make the laws." So why did he say that? Because when you can control the financial system, you can control everything else, because everything in this fleshly world is revolved around financing, money, so-called money. What we know is money, because really what we know as money today is not real money. But that's the average person ain't gonna be able to understand that. So I'm gonna play this, but like this whole thing that's going on in LA with the ice rides, so-called, what they're doing is paying agitators to come there and create chaos, these inflame these events, and so they can come out with this control, right? So they can come in with the order. Check this out.
The billionaire progressive, they tell us what's behind that money, and let me just say, it should scare us. Soros gave $650,000, that's almost $1 million, to the Black Lives Matter movement to fuel the unrest that followed the death of Freddie Gray. He did this to, and I quote here, he did this to accelerate the dismantling of structural inequality generated and maintained by local law enforcement. Sounds insane, does it not? And his staff lied about it too. They denied ever sending money to the protesters, even though they did.
Let's talk about some of the protests overnight, because we have to turn our attention to this ugliness. More protests, four nights in a row now that these protests have been happening, and they've been smashing storefronts, smashing cars. Take a look at the map right now, because this is where we saw it in Portland, we saw it in some different cities, but look at this. It's now even spread to Florida, upwards Boston, up into Detroit.
Here's the thing about these. Usually protests spread when their legitimacy is growing, right? If you think about that, like legitimacy in the cases being building and things are getting bigger, this is spreading because it's intentionally being spread. More news is coming out about the funding from outside organizations, left-wing organizations, international organizations of elites that want to just say Donald Trump's not legitimate. Apparently the vote didn't matter.
And leaders behind these protests, including, we now learn, George Soros, Reverend Al Sharpton.
And George Soros has affiliation with the J people. He come from a J family. So he's, part of this elite J people who control the world. So this is the hidden hand that you don't see. That most people don't. When we say this, they'll call it a conspiracy theory because of their ignorance. They think the politicians that they see on TV is really controlling the world. That's not true. It's this global elite that controls the media, and what it controls is mind control, because it controls what you think in your mind. Why you think when they show they push a narrative on the news, on the media, that's what everybody talks about, and none of this stuff really is. How can I say this? The stuff that you Jakes talk about and you get sucked into, it has nothing to do with the whole grand scheme of things that's going on in this world. It's not about world domination. It's not about who's controlling things. They don't want you to never know that. They want to keep you stuck on celebrity gossip, drama, celebrity drama, politics. So you won't never question things. They want you to stay in that docility. They want you to talk about sports and this meaningless shit. They don't mean nothing in the big grand scheme of things.
George Soros, Reverend Al Sharpton, George Soros, Reverend Al Sharpton, Michael Moore, who's shown up to these protests. And so, getting out this message via social media, emails out to individuals. As Donald Trump had criticized these protests in the days after the election, they're not spontaneous. They're organized.
Right, but George Soros' piece is denying exactly what you're saying. He's saying this is not coming from outside funding. How dare you say that?
Shocking. George Soros, of course, will deny it. Having worked and seen organizations like this work for over a decade, they hide their funding. They never admit it. The group behind these protests and the ones that may happen at the inauguration, it's a group called Answer, International Answer, founded to oppose America.
Who's making money on riots? Professional agitators for a start, but the trouble is figuring out who's paying them. Following apparent top-level security briefings on the subject, President Trump branded the 2025 LA anti-ICE riots as being fueled by agitators. While some dismissed these claims, they appear to have been corroborated by LAPD Chief of Police Jim McDonnell in a press interview, where he acknowledged that there are people in the crowd who, quote, do this all the time. This tracks reports of mysterious ads offering to pay up to $12,500 per week for rioters, as well as reports of pallets of bricks showing up near the protest.
Well, there you go. So the same thing that happened at what was this? The George Floyd thing. You know what I'm saying? Give me 1 second. Yeah. So it's like, nothing is what it seems. Everything is an illusion. So all these so-called movements, especially like in the 60s, was all pretty much manufactured. It was all made up. They create the problem, reaction, solution. So let's get more into this lesson. Let me get into some information. Give me 1 second. And this is ultimately end goal to micro CHIP everybody. And so you can be a slave to the system, the beast system. And this is they new world order. You know what I'm saying? Just by me saying the word, they're going to probably put the definition of that under this video. They don't want you talking about this because people are going to write this. They're going to make you think this is a conspiracy theory. So this is how they get down though. And this right here stands for New Order of the Ages, if I'm not mistaken. Novus Ordo Seclorum at the bottom of this pyramid. New Order of the Ages. So let's go here. So people don't know this though. That's on your dollar bill. Right? So Ordo out of chaos, or Ordo out of chaos. What does that mean? Order out of chaos refers to the concept often used figuratively where structured systems and organizations emerge from a state of disorder, randomness, or unstructuredness. This phrase can be interpreted in various contexts, including, look, this is when they, matter of fact, let's go to 1 second, Salakia. I want to go to a cleaner definition, but you get the point. Give me 1 second, let me see something. All right, they ain't trying to give me too much, but you get the gist of it. Order out of chaos is when they bring in order from the manufactured chaos that they bring. So they create these events and these so-called movements, right, to make you think that it's really an issue going on, and just to come in with the order, like the seed thing. If you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. The seed thing was a bio weapon that was released among the people, and it came in with blank, 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 right? And the control, right? Under the guise of medical blank, blank, blank. You see how this goes? I don't want to say too much. So they'll do problem, reaction, solution. Bring the problem, create the problem, see the reaction of the people, and then come in with the solution. It says the problem, solution, reaction. Concepts sometimes refer to order out of chaos suggests that a problem is created or exaggerated to elicit a reaction from the public, leading to the implementation of a predetermined solution. So it's already been predetermined what they're going to do. So they come in with the problem, the see thing, see the reaction, they create the fear, and then they come in with the solution. But this is how they plan and plot and scheme, and this is how they can rule over the people. And you got this done in different secret societies that's all interlocked in this web of Esau Edom, right? Let's go here at the top. It says a theory, it says postulated by David Icke, in which the government or higher power manipulates the population by introducing a problem and then using they kind of cut it off here. But you get it. Problem, reaction, solution. It ain't nothing deep about that. So what is this? Let's go to this next term. Manufacture problems. So they create problems and tell you that this is a problem. They tell you to worry about this problem. They run stories in the media to tell you that this is what you need to be worried about, and this how they just mind control. Because people, these talking heads on these platforms, talk about these issues all day, all week, all month, to keep your mind in the state in the stirring direction that they want it to be in. It says manufactured problems generally refers to problems or issues that are created or fabricated rather than arising naturally. 911. You figure it out. It says in the context of manufacturing, this could mean defects or issues caused by flaws in manufacturing process itself. This going into something else. But you get there was the first definition, right? So this is their agenda is world domination as they've been doing. And anybody that get in their way, you know what it is. Isaiah 29:15. Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel. Right? They even got something called secret societies, the Illuminati, right? Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Their works, that mean their actions, their plans, right? Are in the dark. So what does this mean? It's hidden from the public eye. It's done in secrecy. And the average monkey-minded American don't understand what's going on because they think everything is a conspiracy theory. The CIA created that term and made it popular. And they say who see us and who know us. So who able to figure out what we doing? Because they know the general public is goyim, or sheeple. They don't know nothing. They only know what the television telling them think. Let's go here. Isaiah 29:15. It says, what sorrow awaits those who try to hide their plans from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, who do their evil deeds in the dark, right? So they do it in secrecy when, at the public eye. The Yahweh can't see us, they say. He doesn't know what's going on, right? So they think the Lord, they think they can outwit the Lord, right? Of their world domination and control. And that's how they're gonna crash this old system out and bring in this new system. That's what the WF was in alliance with this C thing. It's all connected, interlocked, connected for the agenda. Let's go here. And the world is a stage, literally. It is. And you know what I'm saying? I get to that another lesson, but the world is a stage. We're just the actors. Everybody playing a role in this movie of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. But yeah, things are gonna intensify. They're gonna come in with more control, right? And they're gonna eventually crash his old system out and bring in this new system, which is the MOTB. That's coming down the pipe, whether you want to deal with it or not. And then World War III will ensue, nuclear war. Hopefully this lesson has been edifying. Call Halal Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Kodash. Shalom.